Hey, Pat, I think it's time that we boldly go where no one has gone before.
Do you think we should tackle the final frontier?
Yes, Pat, I think we should talk about Star Trek.
Welcome to Passion of the Geeks, the show in which two friends and fellow geeks talk about geek and pop culture and everything else we enjoy. I am Pat.
And I'm Greg.
And let's get on with it. Greg, we're in episode 35.
Yeah, I can't believe we're still doing this.
Yeah, I wouldn't have imagined that we last this long. But it has been fun so far, so I'm pretty glad we do this.
I mean, it's we're still not a year in. I think our first episode was in June.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
We're kind of getting close to the 1 year mark. So, yeah, quite exciting about this.
That's true, that's true.
So this is for all our doubters. We're still doing it.
Yeah, we managed to make more than 2.
Which is probably our most podcast style, or is it? I think probably 5 or 6 maybe.
Yeah.
Or 3, I don't know.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but let's look a little bit back before we go into the episode today. Let's follow up to our last episode, or our last special episode.
Yeah, very special indeed.
Yeah. For those who missed it, in episode 33, we had a very special April Fool's episode about the Snyder Cut.
And it's very important to say that it's not technically an April Fool's joke or whatever. We actually recorded a 4-hour live commentary for Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yeah.
Which, let's just say, recording the podcast and watching the movie was an experience.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure. But a fun one.
But definitely a fun one. And I think we mentioned it at the end of the episode that we're definitely going to do another commentary again at some point.
Yeah, I think it was so much fun. I think it definitely should be another commentary at one point, yes.
Yeah. We might have to work a little bit on kind of the other whole technical setup, because I think, audio quality is not up to our usual standards, but I'm pretty sure we'll be able to figure something out there, and we'll definitely do a movie that's not that long.
Oh, yeah. So that it falls more in a 2-hour category.
Yeah, or maybe 90 minutes or something. But yeah, let's... but that being said, so yeah, it's been more than 2 weeks actually. Or about 2 weeks. Any thoughts on the Snyder Cut?
Well, good question. I mean, it was a lot to digest, and I had a lot of fun watching it, not just because we were recording it. It was definitely a movie that made a lot of fun. And I mean, it's, as we said there, it's not really fair to compare it to the theatrical version, to the one Joss Whedon made, because Snyder had all the time in the world and he had the resources. So, but if you just consider the movie itself, I would say it's the better movie.
I mean, I would say it's better. It's still not very good.
Yeah.
I have to admit, there are certain moments that I really like. There are certain character arcs that are quite good and work a lot better than they did in the theatrical cut, because, definitely. Most of them were non-existent. That being said, the movie is still roughly the same thing.
Yeah.
And most of what's what I don't like about it are things that I don't like about all the other movies in that corner of the DC universe as well. I mean, it's definitely an interesting, piece of entertainment, kind of that it exists, but I'm not sure it was worth the whole mess they created or kind of the whole campaign they did or whatever. I hope that all those people who wanted to see it are happy with it. I truly do. But please shut up now. But apparently they don't.
Oh, they don't.
They don't. Now it's restore the Snyderverse.
Okay.
And that's the part I don't understand, because I mean, even if this version is better than the original, than the theatrical cut, can we just agree that overall the whole experience of this so-called Snyderverse just sucked? And everything that, I mean, I enjoyed Aquaman, which was quite a big departure from the established Aquaman in Justice League. I really enjoyed Shazam. I really enjoyed the first Wonder Woman, not so much the second one. I'm really looking forward to James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. Can we just leave this DC thing behind us, please?
Yeah, I think we're done here. So
yeah, I think we're done.
But yeah, it was fun. It was everything that could have been with the material that came before, and for that, it's a great job. And yeah, it's okay now.
Yeah, and I mean that being said, yes, trying to release Justice League as a 2-hour movie was definitely a really, really, really bad idea.
Indeed. Also, making it more like a Marvel movie was a bad idea.
Was a very bad idea. I mean, just, a 4-hour version, not sure if that's the better idea. But it exists now, so yeah. I don't really know whether or not it was a success for HBO Max.
Okay.
Don't know how many people watched it. Maybe I have to research that at some point. But yeah. Let's just move on, please.
Yeah. And if you want to hear more about what we have to say about the Snyder Cut, just listen to episode 33, and you can, if you just want to have our final verdict about this, skip to the epilogue. And from there, it's pretty much a great summary of what we think about the movie.
Yeah, and just to reiterate it once more, it's not an April Fool's joke. Yes, we released it on that day because we thought that was funny. But we're not. It's not a Rickroll. It's not a dead link. It's not 4 hours of static. It's a real episode. We sat down, we watched it, we recorded it, and this is a promise. And a promise is a promise. And we're not gonna try and trick you on April Fools or whatever.
No,
we might have some fun with that day. But when we tell you to watch out for something cool on April Fool's Day, we're going to deliver. That's a promise. That's a Passion of the Geeks promise.
From one geek to another.
Yeah, that's a promise.
All right, then. Let's go back to the present and to our Today I Found Out segment. Greg, what did you find out?
Well, there are two things I would like to mention just very briefly, very quickly. One is Black Widow just released a new trailer, and they have a new release date. More than a year later than initially. Black Widow is supposed to come out July 9th. I'm really looking forward to that. I hope we can watch it in the cinemas together.
Mm-hmm. That would be great.
Yeah, I just hope that cinemas are open at that point. If not, we'll definitely watch it on Disney Plus together.
Yeah.
It's going to be this either in cinemas or Disney Plus Premier Access. Maybe that's another movie. Maybe that's a movie that we could record a commentary for or something. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
But Black Widow, July 9th. I'm really looking forward to it. Have you seen the last trailer?
I try not to watch trailers anymore because they usually spoil too much. I've seen a couple of screenshots, and I try to keep the knowledge about the movie to a minimum. I'm really excited for it because I like Black Widow.
Yeah, I would suggest that you keep it that way. because I watched the trailer and I'm I had some some ideas where they might take the story, and now that I've watched this trailer, I think they spoiled the movie for me because they gave me a little hint.
Oh, okay.
That confirmed one of my theories, and yeah, I wish I hadn't watched it, actually. It's a cool trailer.
Okay.
But yeah, we're going to watch it anyway. So what? I mean, at this point, couldn't they just say Black Widow and give us a date and Scarlett Johansson,
be done
you
with
go
it.
see it?
Yeah.
I think it would be enough.
Go.
And the other bit is Netflix and Sony just announced a deal. That Sony, one of the few movie studios without a streaming service, and it seems like they decided not to start a streaming service. So it's Netflix, probably Netflix USA or maybe Netflix International, is going to be the streaming service to release Sony pictures. And that includes the Sony Marvel movies. For example, the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse sequel is one of the movies they mention in that deal.
Okay.
So, yeah, it seems like Netflix is going to be the home for Sony movies. For one, I'm happy about that decision because it means that I don't have to add another subscription service to my to my TV.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Yes. And I think because they made a deal like this, it seems unlikely that Sony would kind of have a similar strategy than, let's say, Warner Brothers has with HBO Max, where they kind of their day and date releases, or Disney with Black Widow same day theater and Disney Plus Premier Access. Because I just hope that at some point cinemas, movie theaters are going to be open again and that we can enjoy movies there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But great news about Netflix having Sony. That's good, yeah.
It's good, definitely good for them to have premier
I agree.
blockbuster Hollywood movies, yeah.
All right, then it's my turn.
Yes, it is.
I have just something very small today. In keeping with the overall theme of this episode, I want to make a shout out actually for the Orville. I've talked about the Orville a little bit in one of our episodes. I like it a lot. And there's currently the third season. They're filming that. And I'm really looking forward to that third season.
It's a charming show that, I mean, more often than not, they really strike the balance between interesting sci-fi and comedy.
Yeah.
And there are other shows that don't really manage that, at least that successfully. So, yeah, I think Orville, probably the funniest Star Trek comedy on TV at the moment. True.
Yeah, well, that's all for today. For today, I found out. So let's carry on with the Check It Out segment. Greg, your turn.
Okay, I mean, here's the thing. You were so brief with your news. I was so long with mine. And now it seems that I'm going to be longer with my check this one out as well, because I have a story to tell. My PS5, and our listeners know that, yeah, me and my PS5, we have a very special relationship. I mean, it took some time until we got together, and then our relationship started to blossom. And then suddenly one day, while playing the expansion to Immortals Rise of Phoenix, the PS5 stopped working.
Oh.
I presume it was an issue with the HDMI port or whatever. I don't really know. I tried every step in the troubleshoot or whatever, but yeah, nothing worked, so I had to send it in. And the lovely guy from PlayStation support told me that it was just a week before Easter where I had to send it in, that it could take up to 3 weeks for my PS5 to return. And yeah, I thought, okay, yeah, well, what should I do? I mean, yeah, I have to send it in, whether it takes 2 days or 3 weeks or whatever. My PS5 doesn't work, so I need one. I need it serviced. So I thought, okay, what should I do now? So my PS5 is gone. I looked online and basically an impulse buy, I bought an Xbox Series S. Obviously, I mean, thank God, a Series X they're still unavailable. Kind of, they're as hard to get as the PS5, but the Series S, I was able to get one, and I've been using it for 2 weeks now, and I'm quite happy with it. Obviously, kind of if you compare it to the PlayStation 5, it's a little bit slower, but you don't really notice it. The graphics are perfectly fine, so I'm quite happy with that purchase. The really cool thing though is Microsoft Game Pass. I've basically, besides the console, I haven't spent $1, one Swiss franc or whatever on games, because I'm still in my free month for Game Pass, or I think it's $1 for the first month. And you can try out so many games. It's just awesome. I think I've tried out Shadow of Mordor, Forza Horizon. I've started replaying Halo. I'm kind of replaying first Halo. I've played the first Halo. I haven't played any other Halos because, I don't have a PC to play or never had an Xbox. I played some indie games, Celeste, Spiritfarer. I mean, I played so many Overcooked. You name it, I probably played it. And it's just really, really cool. So I'm definitely going to do an unplugged episode about some of these games on Game Pass, because I think one big issue there is there's so many games you don't really know which one to play. So it's the only downside. There are too many games there. But other than that, I'm quite a fan. Yesterday, my PS5 arrived. I got a new one. So seems something was broken, but I'm still downloading lots of patches. So but I'm proud owner of a PS5 and a Xbox Series S now. So from my point of view, the pandemic can continue. I'm set. That's that. So you're a PC gamer as well. So do you have Game Pass as well?
Actually, no, I don't. It's always something I thought I should maybe, but then again, it's usually I don't play as many games or as many different games, and a huge part of my gaming is with retro games. So I think in the end, the Game Pass would not be for me, because there's just not enough new games that I buy. But the Game Pass is fantastic. It has so many games in, the newest games, and it's something that Microsoft really pushes. I know that Microsoft would gladly offer the Game Pass on the PlayStation 5, but Sony doesn't want them to.
Obviously not.
I mean, obviously, sure. But Microsoft really changed a lot. They go all out. They want everyone to be able to play their games or just basically use their software. And this is where they make their money today with services, whether they're games or whether they're office suites or whatever you have.
Yeah, so. I mean, I'm really looking forward to when they release all the Bethesda games day and date.
Yeah.
There's this one Bethesda game that's still supposed to be in a timed PlayStation exclusive, and I think they just postponed that one. But after that, day and date on Game Pass. So for Bethesda games, that's pretty cool.
There probably will be timed exclusives as well, because in the end they want the PlayStation
want you to play the game,
to have them, But
I think they're doing Bethesda. They're doing some remasters of Mass Effect as well, I think.
Yeah, there is a remaster coming for Mass Effect.
Yeah. So I haven't played Mass Effect, so probably gonna play that one on Series S as well with Game Pass. I mean, that's pretty cool.
So that's a great series. Yeah. So you really should play it. Yeah.
Second thing, and just very, very briefly, WandaVision follow-up Falcon and the Winter Soldier is on Disney Plus. I've watched the first 4 episodes, and I like it, but I think Falcon and the Winter Soldier would have benefited from a kind of a different release strategy with just all the episodes just on the same day. Mm-hmm. Because, I think I like it, but the momentum is not really building between the episodes. Mm-hmm. And I think WandaVision, because of the whole TV setup, actually it helped the show build a momentum. But I think we're definitely going to do an in-depth review of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Yeah. So I've talked more than enough now. So
I'm going to tune in here. And this time I will take a little bit longer as well. But just to follow your bandwagon with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I started to watch it from the very beginning, right with the release schedule. So this is a new for me. And so far, I'm incredibly happy with the show. And I agree that the 1 week pause between the episodes does not work in the same way as with WandaVision, because WandaVision, it helped to digest everything and to make up theories and stuff. And this is not really what the Falcon and the Winter Soldier does. But so far, I'm pretty happy with it, just to agree here. Well, I checked out Elite Dangerous Odyssey, the alpha build. And I've talked about Odyssey some episodes ago, how it adds what they call space legs, just walking in and sort of first-person shooter elements to the game. And I was very excited for that. And that is why, despite the lack of time I have right now, I really tried out the alpha version. And it's definitely an alpha version. You can see the potential that is there. Right now, a lot of things are not completely finished. They are unbalanced. And my poor PC struggles a lot with the unoptimized graphics engine right now. And the thing is that at the moment, or when Odyssey will be released, it doesn't allow you to walk around inside your ship. You kind of just teleport from your pilot seat to the ground in front of your ship. And I know they want to have a completely seamless walking in, walking out of the ship. And I think that is really missing, because they were advertising Odyssey as the Neil Armstrong moment, where you step out of your ship onto a new and foreign planet. And it kind of does not have the same impact if you just teleport out. Pew! This is not what Neil Armstrong did.
I think the word you're looking for is to beam.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I know they will add that at one point, but it won't be there in the first release, and that's too bad. Still, having the possibility to walk around space stations, and even though if it's just basically one big airport-like room, it's really nice. And walking around your ship is really nice. You get a real good feel for how big it is, how massive your ships are. It's fun, and I'm really looking forward to the beta version and everything that is more optimized. And I think it will add a lot to Elite Dangerous. And it's not there yet. But looking forward to it.
You've mentioned the game before, and it's definitely one I have to check out whether or not it's on Game Pass. And if it's on Game Pass, I'll definitely have a quick look.
Yeah, even though I have to warn you, a quick look is very hard in Elite Dangerous, because it is a game you have to
immerse yourself.
Yeah, it takes a bit, but you can get a good glimpse, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
So, let's dive into the story of the week, shall we, Greg?
Yes, we shall. We shall make it so.
We shall make it so. Exactly. We really go boldly somewhere where we haven't dared to go before. And that we wanted to talk about Star Trek. And we love Star Trek, don't we?
We do, but we thought it's not enough that we just do a Star Trek episode. We also trying out a new format, aren't we?
Exactly. And it's a new format that we call Let's Pitch. And it's an idea that you had, Greg, for some other franchise we won't talk about right now. But I thought it was a great idea because it allows us to look a little bit at a franchise and in our pitch, think about the stuff we like, stuff we love. And I'm wondering, maybe will our pitches be very similar? Will we perhaps want the same thing? Could be interesting.
I mean, we haven't shared our pitches with each other.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
So, Greg, you may start.
Okay, I have to start by a little preamble here because I thought of my pitch today. We decided on this topic, I think, last week. And I thought, yeah, okay, I'm going to come up with a pitch. And then it was today, and I still didn't really come up with a pitch. So today I did some chores around the house. I did some window cleaning. And while window cleaning, I basically could use the creative part of my brain. And I came up with a pretty cool idea of a Star Trek show I wanted to watch because, Star Trek for me is about the crew of interesting people exploring the galaxy, solving problems and things like that. But then I thought, okay, but every Star Trek show out there is basically that. And I thought, how can I do something like that with a little twist? They need missions, they need to help people, they need to solve problems. Is there something within Starfleet that can do that? And then I figured, there was this organization called Section 31, kind of a clandestine service within Starfleet. That's cool. You have this shadow organization. They can go on many different ships, meet many different people, solve problems. You can have an overarching story arc and things like that. And I thought, okay, that's pretty cool. So I Googled just to make sure that I get some basic facts about Section 31 right. And then I figured out, they're already working on that. And I'm just reading from Wikipedia here. Announced in January 2019, a live-action television series, currently untitled, will focus on the Mirror Universe's Philippa Georgiou. That's the character Michelle Yeoh plays on Discovery. The series is reported to feature an ensemble cast. In February 2021, so not too long ago, it was announced that the series would only move forward once at least one of the current slate of 5 concurrent series, that's Discovery, Picard, Lower Decks, Prodigy, and Strange New Worlds. I actually don't really know what Prodigy is. Strange New Worlds, I think, is the one with Captain Pike, but I could be mistaken.
Yes.
So basically, they're taking away my idea. Okay.
I just wanted to add that Prodigy is an animated Star Trek show. It focuses on a younger audience. It looks interesting. It does not focus on a ship as far as I see. And I know that Captain Janeway will be a part of that show, but probably only as a sort of an advisor figure. It looks interesting, but at first glance, it looks perhaps a little bit too much like Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah.
From the design, there is a neat little robot and some stone alien and stuff. Yeah, but it could be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, probably not what you're thinking about.
Okay, so basically at that point, I can't pitch a show they're already making. So, okay, let's scrap that. So I thought, okay, what else is there? So when I look at Star Trek, Star Trek that I like is exploration, to boldly go where no man has gone before. But then again, most Star Trek shows, they actually have this very well covered. I mean, there's always original or the Next Generation episode to go back to when you want a cool episode about exploration. Voyager actually had the exploration part down very, very well as well. I mean, they literally explored a new part of the galaxy that we did not or haven't seen before. Deep Space Nine tried to do the same thing on a space station. Enterprise tried kind of the whole backstory thing. And I would like to add, I mean, 2 seasons, mostly successful. I mean, season 3 is really good. Season 4 definitely has its moments, so I'm quite happy with that. Even Discovery is getting good. So at this point, I figured out, okay, but maybe it's just another show set on another spaceship is not the right way to go. Obviously, Star Trek needs to be about space, but there needs to be something else that can make it stick out. So then I thought, okay, maybe it's Star Trek also for me is about the different races. But then again, do I really want to see a Star Trek show set at Vulcan High Command? I could picture a mini-series about some either Romulan Vulcan civil war or maybe about a war or a Klingon war or whatever. But then I thought, but it's Star Trek. It needs to be Starfleet-y, kind of different cultures coming together, not just focusing on one. So I thought, okay, I need to find a setting where I can bring people with different races together. Doesn't have to be a spaceship, but it should still be about people exploring space while learning a lot about themselves. So one thing I would definitely change in kind of compared to other Star Trek shows, my characters are flawed. They're not as perfect as everyone was on the Next Generation. They're more like kind of they are in, let's say, the new Star Trek movies, or maybe even Kirk, Spock, and Bones were kind of arguing a little bit, kind of having a different outlook on what to do. So I want that as well. So here's the thing: what I really want is I want Star Trek. I want the same, but I want it different. I want maybe a little bit nostalgia, but not as much nostalgia as Picard had, because I think at the end of the day, that was almost a little bit too much. So I want characters of flaws, I want action, I want strong themes. It's not just, as I said, about characters exploring space, it's also about exploring themselves. So it's people on a Star Trek, trying to become the best Starfleet officers they can be, trying to become the best people, the best beings they can be. So let's put them in school. Yeah, I want Star Trek Starfleet Academy.
Okay, yeah.
So, I mean, I can kind of... basically, my pitch is you get some interesting cadets, some interesting teachers. Maybe here you have an opportunity for some cameos, I don't know, or kind of some guest lecturers, who knows, and show them go through their training. So there are huge opportunities for character arcs. I mean, there have been so many shows that kind of are set at a educational facility that Starfleet Academy definitely is. You can have them go on missions. Not every part of their training needs to be in space. You can have half a season or a season where they actually are on a training ship or whatever. You can have them explore something, maybe not too far away from Earth, but you definitely can have them do something. They have problems with each other because, they're not full Starfleet officers yet. Of course, they make mistakes and things like that. And you can also give them the chance to stumble upon something far greater than just what's going on around them. Maybe a secret that's able to destroy Starfleet from within.
Yeah.
There might be a character who's a shapeshifter, and yes, I'm gonna bring the Dominion back. So one more thing that I have, and I'm not sure how detailed we go, and just say this crap. I basically wrote this down in 15 minutes, but so please bear with me. So my kind of the main character, but it's maybe a 2, maybe even a 3 or a 4-hander. So there are lots of characters who share equal screen time. But first character is kind of a young Betazoid woman. Against the wishes of her families and running from her responsibilities, she joins Starfleet because she wants to forge her own luck. So yeah, she kind of feels locked into what she was supposed to do back home, and she wants away from that. Her roommate is a human female, her opposite. She's basically Starfleet royalty, if there is such a thing. She's exceptionally capable, but she fears that she's never too good for her own family. Maybe her father or whatever, her mother is an admiral or something, and kind of she has to be so good in order to kind of be good enough, basically. Then I have a half Andorian Orion male. Not entirely sure how that looks yet. Maybe kind of a different shade of blue or green, I don't know.
Probably.
But the thing is, both of them kind of races who are very distinguished. So because he's Andorian and Orion, he doesn't really fit in. So he's joined Starfleet because he doesn't have another home, and he hopes to find one in Starfleet.
Okay.
And the last character, half Vulcan, half Bajoran, male.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
And kind of because of Vulcan and because of Bajoran, kind of, his family also had plans for him. He was supposed to become a cleric on Bajor, supposed to become a cleric, but that's not really his thing. And maybe kind of he doesn't really, he's Vulcan half, maybe not so strong. He's a thrill and adventure seeker, and he hopes to find that in Starfleet. So those are kind of just 4 student characters I came up with. Kind of the idea there is that they're all looking for something different or hoping to find something different in Starfleet. But what they will find is actually friendship and companionship with each other. And obviously there are going to be more characters. I mean, not sure if how far I can develop this. I have 2 more characters, 2 teachers. One is a drill instructor.
Okay.
He or she, I haven't decided on the gender here yet, is drill. And what I decided though is that the body is so much younger than the mind the body inhabits. So it's a very old symbiont in a young body. And this instructor kind of uses that to his or her benefit. Kind of he or she's able to blend in with the cadets. But he or she is really an instructor because, drills, they have a lot more knowledge than they might let on. And there is the head of Starfleet Academy. And at the end of the pilot, it is revealed that she's a shapeshifter, a changeling.
Okay.
And that's going to be the kind of the big mystery, what's going on there. So basically, the way an episode looks like, it's you have an A story, a mission to do, something to learn, a problem to solve, or they need to help someone. A B story, a problem the characters have among each other or with staff, or kind of it's a personal issue. And then you have the arc. So what's going on there? Is the Dominion coming back? Is Starfleet just it's just a bunch of changeling? I mean, here's the thing. We don't know whether that changeling is good or bad. We don't really know where. I mean, last time we saw the changelings, I think they owed a return to the planet. I think that was the last time, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I think it was.
Yeah, so what's...
He returned to the
Yeah, he returned to the others. So, yeah, that's my pitch. Star Trek Starfleet Academy. And yes, of course, there's going to be a Kobayashi Maru episode.
Well, there has to be. There has to be, absolutely.
So I talked for very long. What do you think?
I envy you. Because you get all of this in 15 minutes. You are awesome.
Okay, it might have been 20. But...
Yeah, I've been thinking about all yesterday evening. And I had to do it yesterday evening because I had a lot of work today. I couldn't do it before our recording session. And yeah, I immediately like your pitch a lot more This is definitely something I would want to see. It has an interesting premise. It has really cool characters. I think from what you say, I think there's a lot potential in the characters. And I think there's also the way you describe them, that there are characters that I probably could see myself in. So, kudos to that. And I think you have made a good point with what Star Trek is all about. I think you mentioned the core of Star Trek excellently. Yeah, this is really a great pitch. I think they should cancel Discovery and do this.
I actually like the current season of Discovery. I really like the current season.
Okay. I just couldn't. I tried to get into it again. I just couldn't. Maybe because I've spent a lot of time with the first season of Discovery, and I tried to slog through it. And I know there are a lot of fans out there, and I'm sorry if you feel offended because I don't like it. But there is a certain quality just missing about Star Trek, or that I look for in Star Trek. And maybe I'm making the mistake that I have too much nostalgia for it. We would probably see that in my pitch. But anyway, Star Trek Academy is an excellent idea. There have been a couple of computer games or video games about Star Trek Academy, and especially the one on PC tried to do something similar, didn't go that deep because in the end it was more or less a 3D dogfight simulator. It wasn't enough Star Trek.
I mean, I played that game actually. I quite liked it back then. It had some kind of cutscenes in between. It had a little story set at Starfleet Academy, and obviously, while coming up with the pitch, I kind of remembered that I liked that and liked that game. And I mean, some of the action sequences would definitely be in the vein of that game, honestly.
Yeah. Definitely. It's a game I like, but then again, I have a lot of Star Trek games, and I find something likable in most of them, even though they probably, with a more objective point of view, they're not good games. But yeah, anyway, as I said, I liked what you did with it, and I just wonder. The target audience, would you still keep it? I mean, if you look at Discovery, it's more for the adult, I think. Would you keep it that way, or would you kind of want to make it more suitable for teenagers?
I mean, when I say Starfleet Academy as kind of a educational institution, it's not going to be a show about high school.
Yeah, certainly not.
I mean, I'm talking. I mean, I'm picturing 20-somethings.
Yeah, definitely.
And I mean, here's the thing. I would say I think it's definitely a show for teenagers as well. Mm-hmm. And there's definitely going to be a little bit of soap opera drama in there as well, because it just helps define and gel characters, and I think that's something that we. Maybe Star Trek hasn't done that many times. I think they tried a few things in Enterprise and actually quite enjoyed it. They did a few things on Voyager because of the whole setup there, this long ship. And I think kind of some interpersonal relationships, that's okay. But it's not going to be I'm not picturing it as soap opera. But there are some soapy elements as well. But yeah, 20-somethings. Definitely not for 6-year-olds, but maybe 12, 13 should be fine, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that would be fun.
I mean, I think that's where most... I mean, if I look at the big Next Generation, Voyager, Deep Space Nine, even the original show, maybe Picard skewers a little bit older, but I would say it's teenagers and above.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, CBS really should call you.
I mean, I think I have a web page. I think it's quite easy to reach. And I usually try to write back. If CBS wrote me an email, I'll probably check first if it's a phishing email, and then I'd write back.
You should, yes. And then he would answer.
No, but I'm quite happy that you like my little pitch. Obviously, I don't really have stories. I didn't have enough time for that. But just kind of the initial idea of what I think the show could be. Obviously, first episode would just be how all the characters came here and setting up the mystery.
Of course.
Or maybe kind of how they were chosen for Starfleet. I don't really know how do you just apply for Starfleet? Or do you get chosen?
I think you just apply. There is some background checks, if I remember correctly, but then basically everyone is invited.
I mean, I maybe should do some research,
Yeah. I think getting into Starfleet Academy isn't the hard part. I think it's staying there.
Okay, I mean, let's go. You start with 100 cadets and you narrow it down to...
No, it's not a battle royale.
Okay. Only one can become a captain.
Only one
I want to change my pitch.
Yeah. No, it's too late. Your pitch is already great. You shan't make it better.
Okay. Yeah, now I'm interested in yours.
Yeah. Yeah, I should have done mine first so that we could end in a high note, but all right. Actually, before I start, there are a lot of elements I think that you mentioned that are part of my pitch as well. And so I think there are a lot of elements where we agree. And just for everyone out there trying to make a pitch, just making a pitch isn't that easy. Just because Greg tells you he only needs 20 minutes, there are a lot of thoughts that go into it before you write it down. So it's not that easy. All right, then. I've went on a little bit. I already have a title for my show, and it's called Star Trek Sanctuary. And the gist is that I want to go in a little bit another direction than you went. I want to go back to classic Trek, to a traditional Star Trek show, and to make a Star Trek show that is kind of what Gene Roddenberry would have imagined. Because nowadays, when I watch the newer Star Trek things, there's always based on Star Trek by Gene Roddenberry, and I always think, I wonder if this would really fall in a category where Gene Roddenberry would say, oh, yes, that's my Star Trek. But that doesn't mean that it's worse. Just to be clear here, I just look for something very classic. And Star Trek Sanctuary is set after the Battle of Wolf 359. That is that episode, the two-parter with the Borg, Best of Both Worlds. And it's set after that in a time that we already know. There is a new department, a new division in Starfleet, because with the looming threat of the Borg and with all the other things going on, the Cardassians, the Klingon unrest, they don't know about the Dominion yet, but with everything going on, Starfleet tries to prepare, and they start to refit old ships and kind of make them sort of glorified tow ships where they just get out there and follow distress calls and get the people and the ships back as much as possible after a fight. And that is the Search, Rescue and Retrieval Department, the SRR. And the Sanctuary is one ship of this new department. Yeah, it's a show about not going boldly where no one has been before, because the Sanctuary mostly gets called where people already were because they have problems. And there's also a thing about this. I want to explore in that show a couple of things that Star Trek TNG started and they went on, and how things are after the Enterprise is gone, after that big episode was. We're not talking of a flagship here. We really just talk about a tow ship. Getting to the SRR is not exactly something that people apply for willingly. This is more a position you get in Starfleet if you're either a newbie and don't have any experience, or if you've done something wrong and you kind of, they want you out of the way. This is that kind of assignment. So similarly as you have, I want to have characters with flaws, even though I want the characters to be, in the end, even if they go a little bit into the gray area, I want them to be the good guys. I want good and bad clearly visible, because I want to show that even a 10-year-old can watch. Go a little bit below what Discovery is today, and certainly below what Star Trek Picard is. Because back then there were a lot of children watching Star Trek, even though they didn't understand everything. But they saw the adventure, they saw the excitement, and they kind of could say, they could idolize the people there. They could be, you could say, be a little bit more like Kirk, be a little bit more like Spock, try to be a little bit like Picard, to have role models in their life. And this is what I want to have in Star Trek Sanctuary, even though these are people that are clearly struggling for some reason. And I want that whole mix between nostalgia and classic Trek. I want it through everything. Say the Sanctuary, it's a ship that must be immediately recognizable, but I don't want it to be another Galaxy or Constitution class ship. And actually, it would be an older ship, so it must be something from the older generation. It cannot be a Galaxy class ship. So I want a ship that is immediately recognizable. We already know, but we haven't had as the main protagonist yet. And so I would say the Sanctuary should be a Constellation class ship. And fans already know it. It's the one that the Stargazer was, or the Hathaway, and immediately recognizable. And the whole style should be of TNG, except that because we have the possibility to have an older ship, we can make it a little bit like in the original movies. We can make a little bit a cooler color scheme and make it a little darker. It doesn't need to be the living room like the Galaxy Bridge. Yeah. And I also would actually change the uniforms just to give another distinct way of how it looks. And the thing is, again, with the nostalgia, of course, because it's set in the era of TNG, usually they have the classic Star Trek uniforms. But within the SRR on the Sanctuary, I would give them other uniforms. And actually, I would use the captain's variant that Picard wore a couple of episodes with the jacket, and use that as the standard uniform for the SRR, so that when you watch something that you immediately recognize, oh, it's Sanctuary. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like you, I would go back to the problem of the week. I would have sort of overall story arc a little bit with the characters, but I think I would enjoy to have it tell smaller stories, and stories that you can learn something and it be over in 1 hour. Yeah. So you see, my pitch is not quite as exciting as yours.
Do you have any characters?
Yeah, I was thinking about, I still don't have names, but I would start with a male captain. I know it sounds a little bit chauvinistic today, but I would say that these are also lower ranked officers. So he's more like an acting captain. and he's more like a lieutenant commander acting as captain on the Sanctuary. And I would start with him getting on the Sanctuary with the old captain being gone for some reason that we would dive in some later episode, so that we have the possibility to get to know the characters that have already been on the Sanctuary, and also the clash, because he is a new captain. He has his own ship. He's enthusiastic and everything, and all the others have already been on the Sanctuary, and they kind of they see it as a dead end post. I think that could be fun to explore it, especially because the first officer, I would make that a female first officer. And I know we already had that in the very first pilot, and we will have that again in Strange New World. But I think this is a nice contrast to having a different gender. And not because it allows us to make gender jokes, because I didn't want to do that. Actually, just because the first officer would be a truly highly efficient, immensely competent woman who would be obviously better suited as the captain for the Sanctuary, but perhaps she's not the people person. And that with both their skills working together, that could be an interesting dynamic. And there could also be that small element of, will they get together or won't they? But no, they won't. I would really love to have a really purely platonic, working relationship with each other. I would really love that. Not everything has to be about love. One character I really would find interesting is, because it's a Star Trek series, I want a character who is like Spock or Data, in the sense the character that actually has that outside look on how humans behave and how strange we are as a human race. And I would create something new for that. I thought about a failed super soldier experiment or something that made these human beings not without emotions, but selective without any bad emotions or what they thought would be bad emotions like fear and stuff, and have this character that is always annoyingly cheerful. And because he is an artificially created character, he's just alive or awake for a couple of years, so he doesn't really know how the world functions. And I would want him to also be the comic relief characters, not only because he misunderstands stuff, but also because I want him to be a quirky character. And I thought something about sort of like a hobbit. I would make the failed super soldier experiment in that the character maybe is a very small person, maybe one that, like people that suffer from achondroplasia and are just small people. I would make it like in The Hobbit, where a small person can make a difference. I would make it the same. I mean, he's probably very strong and sometimes overuses his strength in a comedic fashion, and would love to make jokes that the little person playing that character would find fun, because it represents how the world feels to him in real life and some struggles he has. That, I think, could be an interesting thing. So that would be one of the characters. And also one character that I would find interesting, but I don't know how long you could work with him, is I think about the Doctor, who is a Vulcan. And he's a very old doctor, very sophisticated doctor, and he's actually much too good for a posting like on the Sanctuary. The problem is, because of his age, he has Bendy syndrome, that one sickness that all Vulcans get where they cannot control their emotions anymore. And at one point they die, But it would be interesting to have that explore a little bit. I mean, you wouldn't have to make it as quickly as in the episode Sarek. He could still have years and years that he could live, and maybe has a head nurse who actually, when it's necessary, will mind meld with him so that he could make an important operation or something. Yeah, I think that's a character I would like to explore a little bit, and also with that terminal illness in mind, to have some outlook or backlook on life. This could make for some incredible, interesting episodes. But all in all, most of the characters I would keep human. I would make it from different ethnicities and stuff, of course, but I would like to focus on the human element and have the aliens on the ship more as a mirror, and a non-human mirror, because they can do all that what I don't want the humans with each other to do, if that makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense, yeah.
Probably the pilot episode would open with the captain getting his posting, and there would already be something very similar to you. I would probably imagine some higher up in the Federation who is actually his father, who pulled some strings to get this post or this ship. Yeah. So what do you think?
I mean, there are definitely parts of it that are more thought out than my short pitch was. I mean, generally I think it's interesting. There's a lot to like there. One question I have though is, and there's one thing that doesn't really gel in my eye, and obviously, kind of your premise sounds like the setup for a comedy.
It sounds like one, doesn't it?
But your characters, that's a drama.
Yeah, I would probably, the thing that I want is to combine it, make it a dramedy.
Yeah.
I do want, you see, Lower Decks, for example, not the episode, the series, it has a lot of heart. It has a lot of well-researched and well-thought-through elements of Star Trek. But the comedy goes too far, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I know a lot of people like Lower Decks. It goes too far in it, and with that, the comedy often tells us a completely different thing than the classic Trek did. It kind of, the morals of classic Trek get turned around in Lower Decks, which I don't enjoy. It's funny, but it irks me. And I don't want to do that. I want a little bit of fun. I want a little bit of lightheartedness, but I want to combine it with morals. I want to combine it with thought-provoking episodes.
Yeah, and that's. I mean, I really, really like it, but that's the one problem I have with your pitch, because it just seems like two things that don't fit together. Because I actually think the whole idea of the premise of a salvage and rescue ship is actually quite cool.
Oh, thank you.
But I think I would play that basically like the Orville.
Well, speaking of the Orville, if I would manage a tone like that, I would be completely fine. Maybe it's a little bit too much at certain points, but yeah.
I mean, obviously some of the things you want to explore, might be a kind of a slippery slope of making a lot of people angry with, now they're trying to comment on this or that illness or on that social issue. But it's a show about people stuck in a job they hate. So that's that's kind of the slight issue I have with it. I mean, other than that, I find kind of the whole idea of, let's show what happens after the big battle. I actually think that's quite an interesting idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean, and we would probably have to get the right tone there. As you said, it would be a slippery slope that it all falls apart.
Yeah,
yeah. That would be a rather thin line that I had to walk if I would follow up on that.
I mean, you need actors who can play those characters, who can strike that balance. I think then if you have actors who strike that balance, and you have a good writing staff who manages to get episodes that are fun but thoughtful, maybe it works. Then I just think it's a lot harder to make your concept work than mine. which is no sign of the quality of the pitch. Obviously not.
Yeah.
Just yours is much more ambitious than mine. Mine is basically just middle of the road. Let's kind of hit all the big bullet points, and let's try to mash it together and try be a crowd pleaser. I mean, yours is way, way, way more niche.
I could imagine that your pitch, I think, has more potential to be more open. As you said, you can explore things in San Francisco. You can explore things on away missions, or certain things on the simulator. Even if they're just simulated, they still have a sort of impact.
Because of the school setting, because of a Starfleet Academy setting, everything they do has some weight,
Yeah. So you could do a lot of great things there. That would probably be something that has much more variety in these episodes. Well, sure, you can always concentrate on certain thing in an episode, but there is a reason why through all of TNG there is a single episode that doesn't feature the bridge because this is where everything happens. And there is a lot more variety in Starfleet Academy, just because they have some duties on a star base or something. So I think if you look at that aspect, I really wonder why they haven't done it up until now. A Starfleet Academy series. It makes perfect sense.
I thought so as well. I was quite happy with myself. Yeah. Yeah. I want to go in my pitch back to classic Trek, and I mean really classic Trek. And there is always, even if that works with walking the line between comedy and drama, there is still a chance that people actually don't want that kind of Star Trek anymore. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just, I can always watch an episode of TNG and just pick it out one episode and say, okay, today I want to watch, I don't know, Darmok, or today I want to watch Inner Light. And you can basically watch all of these just on its own and have a lot of fun with. Mm-hmm. But is that something that people today want? I mean, here's the thing. We'll find out if CBS calls one of us.
Yeah.
So, we should mention that both Star Trek Starfleet Academy and Star Trek Sanctuary are up for sale.
They are?
Yeah.
We're willing.
Yeah, we're willing to sell. I mean, obviously, 6 figures minimum.
Well, I'm open to negotiations.
No, 6 figures. Come on. Don't sell yourself short.
Now, creating a Star Trek show must be something that is, it's probably like making a Doctor Who show or something. It's something that is so important to modern geekdom. It would be more than just an honor.
It's probably, it's creating Star Trek, Star Wars.
Yeah.
Maybe doing a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
I think those are kind of properties that, lots of people are into, and I think lots of fans, lots of geeks have interesting ideas. And we shared our ideas for Star Trek today, and I actually quite liked it, to be honest.
Yeah, it was fun.
And I think we'll definitely do this about some some other property as well in the future.
Yeah. I think we should do this again.
Yeah.
This is fun.
This is fun, yeah. It's fun.
All right, shall we wrap it up today?
I think we talked for both of us, we talked for way too much today.
But Star Trek is an interesting subject, so when we get
I think we have a lot to say about Star Trek and all the different movies, the TV shows and everything. We'll definitely have to come back to that.
We're definitely going to go back to that.
Maybe at some point we can rate Sanctuary or Starfleet Academy among the other Star Trek shows. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? You never know. All right, then let's wrap it up for today. So, this is it for this week. Please like, share, and subscribe to our podcast. We're on all major podcasting services, on YouTube, and on www.passionofthegeeks.com. You can send questions and suggestions to passionofthegeeks@gmail.com, and you can find us on Twitter at PassionOTGeeks. So, Greg, thank you very much for this fantastic episode.
Yes, it was. It was a lot of fun. And to our listeners, check out our Snyder Cut episode.
Yeah, do that. All right then, Greg. Take care, Greg.
Take care, Pat.
The truth is out there.